Chapter 1, verse 5.
And you we ask for help.
It is important to note that the Arabic word used for help in this verse refers to the type of seeking aid when one first applies their full effort to a situation. For example, when one asks another for assistance in changing their car's tire after they put their full effort into trying to change it themselves. Therefore, this verse indicates that one must sincerely strive to obey Allah, the Exalted, according to their strength and then supplicate and hope for His aid. Chapter 47, verse 7.
O you who have believed, if you support Allah, He will support you and plant firmly your feet.
This verse means that if one aids Islam, then Allah, the Exalted, will help them in both worlds. It is strange how countless people desire the help of Allah, the Exalted, yet do not fulfill the first part of this verse through the sincere obedience of Allah, the Exalted, by fulfilling His commands, refraining from His prohibitions, and by facing destiny with patience. The excuse most people give is that they do not have time to perform righteous deeds. They desire the help of Allah, the Exalted, yet will not make time to do the things which please Him. Does this make sense? Those who do not fulfill the obligatory duties and then expect the aid of Allah, the Exalted, in their moment of need are quite foolish. And those who do fulfill the obligatory duties yet refuse to go beyond them will find that the aid they receive is limited. How one behaves is how they are treated. The more time and energy dedicated to Allah, the Exalted, the more support they will receive. It really is that simple. A Muslim needs to understand that the majority of the obligatory duties, such as the 5 daily prayers, only takes a small amount of time in one's day. A Muslim cannot expect to barely dedicate an hour a day to offering the obligatory prayers and then neglect Allah, the Exalted, for the rest of the day and still expect His continuous support through all difficulties. A person would dislike a friend who treated them in such a manner. How then can one treat Allah, the Exalted, the Lord of the worlds, like this then? Some only dedicate extra time to pleasing Allah, the Exalted, when they encounter a worldly problem, then demand Him to fix it as if they done Allah, the Exalted, a favor by performing voluntary good deeds. This foolish mentality clearly contradicts servanthood to Allah, the Exalted. It is amazing how this type of person finds time to do all their other leisurely activities, such as spending time with family and friends, watching TV and attending social functions, yet finds no time to dedicate to pleasing Allah, the Exalted. They cannot seem to find time to recite and adopt the teachings of the Holy Quran. They do not seem to find time to study and act on the traditions of the Holy Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him. These people somehow find wealth to spend on their unnecessary luxuries, yet seem to find no wealth to donate in voluntary charity. It is important to understand that a Muslim will be treated according to how they behave. Meaning, if a Muslim dedicates extra time to please Allah, the Exalted, then they will find the support they need to journey through all difficulties safely. But if they fail to fulfill the obligatory duties or only fulfill them without dedicating any other time to pleasing Allah, the Exalted, then they will find a similar response from Allah, the Exalted. Put simply, the more one gives, the more they shall receive. If one does not give much, they should not expect much in return. In addition, the Holy Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, indicated the infinite and absolute power and authority of Allah, the Exalted, in a narration found in Jami' at-Tirmidhi, number 2516. This narration advises that the entire creation cannot benefit a person if Allah, the Exalted, did not desire them to do so. Similarly, the entire creation together could not harm someone if Allah, the Exalted, did not desire them to. This means only what Allah, the Exalted, decides happens within the universe. It is important to note that this advice does not indicate one should abandon using means, such as medicine, but it means that one can use the means as they have been created by none other than Allah, the Exalted, but they must understand that Allah, the Exalted, is the only one who decides the outcome of all things. For example, there are many sick people who take medicine and recover from their illness, but there are others who take medicine and do not recover. This indicates that another factor decides the end result, namely, the will of Allah, the Exalted. Chapter 9, verse 51.
Say, Never will we be struck except by what Allah has decreed for us. He is our protector.
The one who understands this knows that anything that affected them could not have been avoided, and those things which missed them could never have been obtained. It is important to note that whatever the end result, even if it is against a person's desire, they should remain patient and truly believe Allah, the Exalted, has chosen the best for them, even if they do not observe the wisdom behind the outcome. Chapter 2, verse 216.
But perhaps you hate a thing and it is good for you, and perhaps you love a thing and it is bad for you. And Allah knows, while you know not.
When one truly understands this truth, they stop relying on the creation, knowing they cannot innately harm or benefit them. Instead, they turn to Allah, the Exalted, seeking His support and protection through sincere obedience by fulfilling His commands, refraining from His prohibitions, and by facing destiny with patience. This leads a Muslim to trusting in Allah, the Exalted. It also encourages one to only fear Allah, the Exalted, as they know the creation cannot harm them without the will of Allah, the Exalted. Recognizing that all things which occur within one's life and the universe originate from Allah, the Exalted, is a part of understanding the oneness of Allah, the Exalted. This is a topic which has no end and goes beyond only superficially believing that there is none worthy of worship except Allah, the Exalted. When this is fixed in one's heart, then they only hope in Allah, the Exalted, knowing He is the only one who can help them. They will only submit and obey Allah, the Exalted, in all aspects of their life. In reality, a person only obeys another in order to receive protection from harm or gain some benefit. Only Allah, the Exalted, can grant this, therefore only He deserves to be obeyed and worshipped. If anyone chooses the obedience of another over the obedience of Allah, the Exalted, this shows they believe that this other can bring them some sort of benefit or protect them from harm. This is a sign of the weakness of their faith. The source of all things which occur is Allah, the Exalted, so Muslims should only obey Him. Chapter 35, verse 2.
Whatever Allah grants to people of mercy, none can withhold it. And whatever He withholds, none can release it thereafter.
It is important to note that obeying a person which encourages the obedience of Allah, the Exalted, in reality is obeying Allah, the Exalted. For example, obeying the Holy Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him. Chapter 4, verse 80.
He who obeys the Messenger has obeyed Allah. But those who turn away, we have not sent you over them as a guardian.